Do you really need to remove the factory floor in your skoolie before you start your build? Yes, no? We're going to talk about all the things that we thought about and our lessons learned from our experience and what we think you may or may not want to do for your build. So we started thinking about whether or not we wanted to remove our floor before we even purchased our bus. Our original plan was that we were going to buy a bus, quickly put it together. We really wanted to just get on the road as quick as we can. However, we quickly realized that there may be some other things that we should think about, specifically regarding to our floor in the bus. To try and avoid rust, we specifically looked for buses in the southern part of the US, especially the desert, like Texas, Arizona, and really wanted to find something that was solid in the metal so that we didn't have to do any crazy metal work to fix it. We did take a look at a couple of buses in northern states like Indiana or New York, and we found that they were very rusty. Even the back doors had holes through them. It was visible right off the get-go, so who knows what it would have looked like underneath the floor. We've also seen a lot of horror stories in other YouTube videos where people buy a bus from a northern state, they take out their factory floor, and they see gigantic holes all over the place that they have to weld patches of metal on to repair. That seemed like quite a bit of work, so we bought a bus from Texas, decided maybe that would be a little bit better. So once we had this bus from Texas, we really thought, do we even need to remove the factory floor? Well, when we started looking at it, the floor was a bit dry rotted, and really what pushed us to remove our floor was that it was disgusting. There was 20 years worth of dust and crap all over the floor, so we really thought this was probably not the best place to start our build from. With that being said, we decided to remove our entire factory floor and then install our own, and we quickly realized that this was a good idea, but it was certainly quite a bit more effort than we originally anticipated. As we removed the floor, we found that there were a ton of holes in the floor, from screws that were holding the wood and the metal pieces down, to bolts that were holding the seats in place, to even more bolts that were holding our wheelchair rails in place. We ended up with hundreds of little teeny holes, pretty big holes, all sorts of holes, all over the floor that we were going to have to cover up somehow. Also, as we removed the floor, we were shocked to find that even our bus from Texas had some rusty patches completely through. We had a couple of holes, maybe an inch or two across, that we had to actually patch with metal, and that was what we were completely trying to avoid by buying a bus from Texas. So, if you buy a bus and it's 20 years old, even if it's from Texas, you might want to consider removing your factory floor because there's probably some rust under there that you're not expecting. With that being said, how much extra effort did it take? It probably took us about 4 or 5 full days to remove the entire floor, and then more time even to prep, paint, and then install the new floor. So definitely something that you need to budget for in your build timeline. In the end, we are certainly glad that we took the extra time to remove and then redo our floor in the bus. We were able to patch all the holes so that we didn't have to worry about water getting back into the bus. We repainted the entire floor so it's nice and sturdy with a thick layer of enamel paint, so it should be well protected from the elements for many years to come. We were able to add insulation to the floor, which will certainly help a little bit with heat or cooling depending what season it's in. And one big win from that is that the bus is a lot quieter to drive now that we have insulation and an extra layer of flooring on the bus. During our first couple rides, it was extremely loud, very annoying, and after we put the floor in, it was quite a bit quieter and much more enjoyable to drive. This extra effort will also certainly pay off in the long run, even if you don't think you're going to keep your bus for all that long. Knowing that you put in that extra work to prep the floor and keep it safe for many years would certainly increase the resale value of your bus if you ever choose to sell it in the future. So to summarize, you don't know what's hiding underneath your floor, and we think that the extra time and effort to prep your floor and make it very sturdy for years to come is certainly a good idea. You get a much quieter ride, it might help the resale value in the future, and you don't have to worry about any water getting underneath your floor while you're living in it. If you want to learn more about how we removed our old floor, prepared it for paint, and then installed our new floor, you can check out our multi-part build series specifically related to the floor, and each video is linked in the description below. Please subscribe to our channel for more build content. We are Acrovan Adventures, and we'll see you next time.